Well, hey, welcome to the Pathway Podcast. My name is Pastor Brian, and we are in this season of sharing God at work stories, really with the goal of being a people that are digging deeper and building a bigger people in Christ. And it is incredible when you start to hear people's stories and what God has done. And today will be no exception. I've got two special guests with me, two people I love and get to do life and leadership with here, Keith and Melanie Sensabaugh. Welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
So glad to have you guys here. And why don't you just take a moment and tell us a little bit about who you are today? What are you involved in with, not just at the church, but in life? And then we'll get into some of your story.
All right. Well, who we are today is Keith and Melanie. Matter of fact, when people say, hey, you know Keith, they'll say, Keith who? You know, Keith and Melanie. So we're very proud of that because right? Grandparents of 12, great-grandparents of 1, parents of 5, a blended family, and crazy times, right? 26 years ago, we met via correspondence.
Actually, love@aol.com.
No way.
Yeah.
So this is like the pre-app, pre-dating service?
It was the very first one on the
Amazing.
internet.
Wow. Look at you 26 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. We've had quite the journey. People would be very surprised at some of our waypoints.
Well, we definitely would. I think it'd be great for people to hear some of that today. We can get in some of the cliff notes and things about that journey because, like you said, most people know you as Keith and Melanie. You're both very involved in leadership here in the church and serving. So tell us a little bit, what are some of the things you're doing here? And then, you're getting ready to sunset a season of leadership as well. You can talk about that for a minute, and then we'll get into your story. But what are you guys involved with here at the church?
Go ahead.
Well, I'm on the board of directors, so honored to have been selected to participate in that. And it stretches me in so many ways, emotionally and spiritually. As a person, sometimes I feel so weak when I'm on there, and then we see God moving through supernatural ways, and it's been an incredible blessing. In addition, we get to host the Welcome to Pathway, formerly known as Pathway to Purpose class. We've been doing that for about 3 years. And she, who I'm most proud of in the volunteer work she does at the church, is?
I work on, special projects, volunteer for special projects.
Yeah, and these have been some significant projects. We don't have to get into detail, but I've had line of sight on a number of things that you've been able to help us improve on here. And some of that is in the HR space and staff and leadership, and what a gift. So, super thankful for both of you. So, all right, so let's back up for a minute. And maybe we'll just focus on the like you said, there's your story. People would be surprised. Why would we be surprised? Tell us a little bit of your story. And I always love watching couples tell it, especially when we haven't scripted it. Like, you need to know that this is not scripted. Because one of you is going to start talking and the other will fill in the gaps, right?
His story and her story.
Exactly.
Well, I'll do play-by-play. She'll do color, right?
Okay. All right. So why don't you start the play-by-play? Tell us some of your story over the last 26 years, what God has done.
Wow. So we already said we met through correspondence online and did that blended family thing, which is difficult enough. But making a living was just weird. My own career was pretty successful up to that point, and then all of a sudden it was in this season of not having to switch because of divorce, right? Because of divorce and moving. And there was a very dry period, and all of a sudden I found myself running casinos, literally running Native American casinos across the country at the executive level, which took us to places that we've never been, but also spiritual places that we've never been, because I was never right with working at a casino. Now, I worked in the back of the house, what they call, so I was in charge of HR and food and beverage, everything that wasn't gaming. That's what I would tell myself. Well, I'm not actually involved in gaming. And to this day, I put that little qualifier in here, right? But I was never right with it. And we would pray for another job and pray for another job.
Our friends prayed for us for years to deliver us out of that career.
Because you were believers when you met.
Yes.
You enter into this new season, and I appreciate you sharing. Like, you kind of had that uneasiness in it, and yet God's also using it in different ways. Because, like you said, you were all over the country.
all over the country. But so many times people would come up to, especially if they met Mel with her peaceful personality, and they would say to me at work, "Wow, your wife is so lovely. You guys are just wonderful. There's something different about you. What is it?" So I can tell you, my old joke is there's a lot more praying going on in a casino than there is in a church. Everyone wants to win,
A lot of
right?
Hail Marys, right?
Right. A lot of Hail Marys. But on the other side of working with the people, so many times they would say, "What is different about you?" And you don't participate, and you don't hang out with people afterwards, and you don't go drinking, and which is kind of a lifestyle of working in that industry. And what is it? And so we would get to share what that was.
Wow.
So that was God's hand, right? I'm going to put you in this place, this uncomfortable place, but there is a purpose behind it. So,
Right.
what do you say about that?
Yeah, and we did that while we finished raising all 5 children.
Right.
And we ended up doing the empty nester thing. And
Now, you were also, were you working during that period? You were an executive assistant denominationally at one point,
I
weren't you?
was. I worked for Lutheran Church Missouri Synod, LCMS, when I had met Keith in
Yeah.
Ann Arbor, Michigan. And he was a Croswell boy.
Yeah, which is still so wild to me. So
Yes.
if you don't know what a Croswell boy is, we both have roots in a small town in the thumb of Michigan. Croswell, Lexington is the school I graduated from. I've met 2 or 3 people over my lifetime that actually know where that's at. You're one of them. So yeah, small town, blinking stoplight. When I lived there, no McDonald's. Now there is one, but
Sugar beet
was
factory.
great.
yes, pickle
It's
factory,
great.
sugar beet factory, and right on Lake Huron, which for
Right.
me I think is where my affinity for water and the beach comes from.
Right.
But yeah,
Yeah.
crazy those roots.
Did you know that she researched you before we started going to Pathway? So she's a
I
big
had no idea.
researcher.
That's
So when we were looking for a
funny.
church and going
Yeah.
past Home Depot because we bought a house on this end of town,
Yeah.
and we wanted to get somewhere a little closer, she found Pathway and started researching it, and then she researched the pastor, and the
Sure.
pastor is competitive and likes racket sports and water, and is from Michigan. I said, well, let's go
we
check it
gotta
out.
go.
Checking a lot of
Yeah, we have
boxes,
to
right?
go. Yeah,
Oh,
and that
that's-
was in 2020,
21.
21.
Yeah. You guys have been here, almost. I've been here 5 years. You've been here about 4.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So we kind of interrupted you. The Croswell
that's
thing got
okay.
us going.
So, working for Lutheran Church Missouri Synod in Michigan, and met this guy, and we decided to move our children up north to Michigan on 40 acres and raise them there and finish raising them there out of the big city.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then Keith got into the casino business up there.
Wow. So not only were you in a role, and then you guys moved more northern Michigan and all of those things, but I'm just thinking your background, there's people you meet that are just unique in that they've got all these different gifts and talents. You're one of those people, Keith. Like,
Yes,
I'm just a regular guy, so
yeah, okay. A regular guy who you were a teaching tennis pro.
Yeah.
You're a very accomplished jazz drummer.
yeah,
Right,
we did a
which-
little drumming, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just like,
Charter captain for fishing.
oh, I didn't
Did
see. I
all
didn't
these-
know that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unlike Great Lakes, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it's a good thing. I think maybe I just don't have a good attention span or an ability to commit
Yeah.
or something like that. But a lot of interest for sure.
No, for sure. And I think that for me, maybe the reason to talk about that for those that might be listening is I think sometimes we can so over spiritualize things that we forget that he is a God of the real life and said, I'll give you abundant life. And so he has a way of taking all of life, these talents, these desires, these things we enjoy, and just allowing us to be a part of those in a new way under his lordship, right?
Right.
But I think for a lot of people to know, like, yeah, he may ask you to give up some things, but you're also going to get to still do a lot of things you
Yes.
still enjoy,
Yes.
but now you do them with a different purpose, right?
Yes. And he did ask us to give up a lot, as a matter of fact. He asked
Wow.
us to give up being close to our children and our grandchildren at one
Mm.
point, and said, I'm going to move you across the country. It wasn't quite Africa, but
Yeah.
he moved us to Seattle, in the casino industry. And the wheels went from there. It was...
Yeah. How long were you in Seattle?
We were only in Seattle about a year.
Okay.
We loved it out there, but it was too far from our children.
Yeah.
And it was time to not be in the casino industry, which we had
Yes.
been praying for. And he gave that incredible opportunity to go to another part of the country. But it was almost like he had to break us, right?
Yeah.
And like put us in a desert and take us away from everything. But in his grace, our children were raised and they were married and they were starting families of their own. So it became this, okay, it's time for a different focus and you're going to have to trust me. Literally,
Yes.
we prayed about it and prayed about it. And every time they made me an offer, we would pray about it and I'd say no. Then they'd give me another offer, I'd say no. And they'd give me another offer, I'd say no.
Yeah.
And because we didn't want to leave, we were stiff-necked. Like,
And I'm assuming those
This is
offers
where we
are
are.
increasing in
Yeah,
value.
they were- they
so
were-
is that
They
the art
were.
of
Different.
negotiation?
Yeah.
Is that what
we
Yes.
cried. We would literally pray and
Wow.
cry, pray and cry.
Yeah.
And then finally
It
there
was
was
amazing.
they flew us out and anyway, we came back and we said, guess what, kids, we're moving to Seattle. It was just obvious. He removed every roadblock because in every prayer we would say, well, if they say this or this were to come to pass, then we would, right? That's why we're saying no. And then he would remove that roadblock and he removed every single roadblock.
did.
Real estate, he just removed every roadblock and it became like, well, guess what? We have to go. There's been a few times in our lives that the Lord has spoken clearly. I remember calling you from the gas pump one day and saying, guess what he just said to me? We have to do this, and this is what it's going to require. And she'd say, okay. Not a ton, but we have been
You've had a few
given
moments
that,
like that. Yeah.
Yes,
gift.
for sure.
So,
For sure. Trust. And trust in his plan.
yeah, so we went to Seattle, and then after Seattle, we had a year of what I call the trip of a lifetime, or the best time of life. And what do you call it?
Well,
Not maybe what you called it, right?
I would. We lived in our car
Yeah.
for almost a year. I consider we were homeless. We did not have a home at that time, and we traveled. We visited our children, stayed with them often, and then we.
I'm curious. Did everything go in storage, or you sold everything, or what? How did you handle that side of life?
Everything went in storage, including our car. We
Yes.
left that in Seattle.
And we had an SUV.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we put anywhere from summer clothes to winter clothes in that SUV. And we had 2 little Yorkies at the time. And we just said, we don't know where God's leading us, but we just drove.
But we knew it wasn't the casino industry who kept calling. No, we're not doing it. Actually, what happened is I woke up in the middle of the night and I grabbed this little green notebook that I still have and still look at, and I wrote down the things that were going to occur. And I let her know we're leaving the casino business and we're going to get on the road. We're going to find out. We're going to take a year to find out what the Lord wants us to do when we grow up. Now, I'm 55 at the time. Right?
Yeah.
Starting over again.
Completely reinvented your career.
Completely had to reinvent. But I said, but that's what we're doing. And it was amazing. It was amazing. Now when I look back, she says, can we recreate that trip?
Yeah.
But at the time it was
It was
and so
very-
people don't know something like that about
It was
us.
very
right?
difficult for
No,
a woman to not know where she's going to sleep that night,
Yeah.
or take a next shower, or do her hair. You know,
Yeah.
it was very disruptive emotionally and mentally for me. Our children were gracious and took us in, but that only lasts a short time.
Sure,
You're not
yeah.
involved. You're not part of their family. You're just a visitor. So that was a very those short trips there. And then Keith said, we're in Michigan right now. It's getting cold. And if we're going to be homeless, we should probably be homeless where it's warm.
Makes sense.
So
Makes sense.
we headed
brain, left
south.
brain.
We headed south, and we ended up getting very hungry on an exit right outside of Vero. Stopped in, went out. I said, I need the ocean. I need to see the ocean. I need to get to the beach and be, have a little grounding there and spend some time alone with the Lord. And had some pizza, and we kept going. And we went to the Keys. Had never been to the Keys before, and spent some time down there. And in the meantime, Keith is just passionately looking for work. Wherever God wants to take us,
Yeah.
we're willing to go wherever
Wherever
He
you-
wants to go. And then we were called to Sacramento, California. So we went back to the West Coast and spent a year there. And that was too far from our children. we needed to at least be in the same time zone.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
You talk about God moments. So when we left Seattle and we're on our journey, our sojourn, when we were passing through California and Sacramento, she said, honey, I really like it here. You think you can get a job here? And I said, babe, I don't know anybody here. I have no contacts. I have no juice. There's not a chance I'm going to be working in Sacramento. A year later, we were in Sacramento.
Wow.
During that year, we were sitting in Vero. We said to each other, this is nice. Could you picture living here? That's what we say every place we go. Could you picture living here? 4 years later, we were in Vero.
You're here.
We're here.
I'm not, and
We're
not
here.
because we went looking for it at all.
Yeah.
Literally, I'd get a call out of the blue. Hey, you ever think about living in Sacramento? Yeah,
Yeah, we actually did.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's,
We were there.
Yeah.
we were there.
That's
It's
right where we
it's
were.
interesting. I think, when you think about following the Lord, he will strip things away. And I appreciate what you said earlier. You guys are such a picture of health and polished couple and just beautiful and I don't think people would ever know that like you were homeless for a year figuring it
were.
out.
Absolutely.
And I also think, to your credit, that's why in many ways you guys do show up very humble, very open to people, and because there's a backstory. You went through some stuff. You had some things stripped away.
Absolutely.
I also am just reminded right now, Psalm 37:4 says, "Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart." And Sacramento on your heart, then you get a taste of it, right? Vero on your heart, then you get literally placed here.
Right.
Now, I want to bring up something I think is hilarious, because I often will make jokes about HOAs because they were new to me coming from Michigan.
Us too.
And so I
Yes.
get here and I'm like, oh, I have one. Everybody seems to have one. They also are something people have opinions about and aren't real happy with most of the time. So a lot of time on a Sunday when I know you're sitting there, I'll make the joke and then I'll look your way to just see how you're responding, because what do you do for a living right now?
Well, I'm an executive at the largest HOA management company in the world.
So now we'll start getting emails, right? Oh, that's the guy I need to talk to, right?
Can they give me a violation for this or that? Yeah, we get a lot of that.
So how did you get into that line of work, and walk us through, like, from Sacramento to Vero, and then we'll pick up kind of with your pathway story. But how did you get into this?
So when we during that year of homelessness, I have a cousin.
You mean adventure?
Yes.
Yeah,
I love
I have
it.
a
He
cousin
said,
that-
she said.
Yeah, exactly. I have a cousin that lives in Orlando, and he's a pastor. Him and his wife are both pastors. And I said, I haven't connected with them in over 30 years. Let's stop by and say hi. So we did. And his wife was a
CAM, a community association.
community
manager.
association manager there. And he said, Mel, I can do this. I could do this too. She kind of hooked us up with how she got her license and so on. We were on the road down to the Keys, leaving the Keys, like I mentioned. And he said, I'm going to take the test. We're going to head back up north. And when we get up there, I'm going to find a testing center, and I'll study all the way up and take my test up north. And he got it.
Wow.
And he started applying to community association manager jobs around the United States. And that's how he ended up in California. That was his first gig there.
In Florida, in Vero, eating pizza. This would be a nice place. Reconnecting with old Christian friends. Take the class while we're driving. Take the test when we get to Minnesota. 3 days later, a company calls and says, "Do you ever think about living in Sacramento?
Wow.
Do you have a license to do this? Because it requires a license." I said, "As a matter of fact, I do."
Yeah.
I didn't tell him it was like 3 days old.
The ink just dried, but you don't need to know that.
Right.
And we really liked that you ran casinos, which is high net worth people and a lot of amenities and clubs and stuff like
Hospitality.
that. So all of that. And then when you get into HOA, like you said, people have opinions. When I was in Michigan with the casino, they sent me to training because I was a paralegal for the tribal court system. And so I became an alternate dispute resolution mediator. So I was trained with that. Now, if you don't think that comes into play with HOA, so
Yeah.
all these things in life and in our journey, and with her as just really a spiritual rock for me, and us being look at in this life, on this walk on earth, our marriage is the most important thing. We draw a hedge around. I'm not saying individually our walk with the Lord, but our marriage, we draw a hedge around it and we nurture it, and it's something that's near and dear to our heart for everyone to have,
Absolutely.
frankly.
Yeah, and I would just say kind of two thoughts. That one, as you're talking about the fact that God doesn't waste anything.
Mm-mm.
So all of these moments and experiences, like you said, lead to you uniquely being positioned and qualified for a role that now lands you in a place that you were like, oh, it'd be nice to live here, and you're leading here in some great ways. So I think that hopefully gives people hope, because you may be slugging it out in a season and doing something that you're like, I know God's got something for me. Well, he probably does, and he's preparing you for it.
Yes.
And I just love that. The second thing is the marriage piece. I've experienced that from you guys. I think others have experienced what a couple, a unit you are, and how much that matters to you guys. Before we talk about your pathway story, what are like 2 or 3 things that you've learned as a couple that make you who you are, that you think might help other couples? I'm putting you right on the spot.
Okay.
I would say Jesus first.
Okay.
Jesus first, absolutely. We have an ongoing joke that I was looking for a husband before I met Keith online. And I had all these rules, that he had to be a Christian, and not just a Christian. He couldn't say that. I needed him to be an active Christian. I needed him to be part of a community, part of a church, active. So that from Jump Street right away, if you want to call them requirements, my requirements for a husband were faith-based, 100%, 100%.
Well, her listing actually said Proverbs 31 woman.
It did.
And the reason I went online is because I had been single for a little while, and I wanted to see what the competition was like, right? Honestly, well, that doesn't surprise you too much, right?
Makes sense.
Strategist, right?
So I reached out to her. I said, I just want to encourage you. That is an incredible ad. I'm not in that space right now,
Right,
but I just
yeah.
really want to encourage you
Yeah.
that you should not dumb down, right?
Yeah.
When you
Settle.
get back to the Lord first, and particularly for men, for us to learn how to die to ourselves and love our wife like Christ loved the church. It is like unnatural for us and so difficult to do. And you asked fundamentally kind of who we are.
Yeah.
When I was in that season, I was praying this prayer from Chronicles. Lord, that you would bless me indeed, expand my territories.
Prayer of Jabez.
Yeah.
That your hand would be with me and keep me from harm, or evil, so do not cause harm. And someone else somewhere was also praying that exact same prayer at the exact same time.
Yes.
Amazing. Was that a moment when you both realized in the, I guess we'll call it courting process, that you were both praying for the same thing?
She
It
says
was-
she learned to love me.
It was more important to follow God's plan and die to self. It was more important to die to self and follow his plan. I had tried to do this before on my own and be previously married. Didn't work out so well. So maybe God's plan is a little bit better. So I really relied on that and said, he sent me the perfect person. This is exactly who I needed, who my children needed at the time, and still need, and our grandchildren. So this was a God partnership.
Yeah, it's so cool.
For sure.
I think if you are married, that advice applies, right?
Yeah.
If you're struggling, if you're trying to move from good to great, whatever it is, put Jesus first, die to self, right?
Absolutely.
My goodness. And then I love that there's this part of your story that I think can encourage others who are maybe coming together as a blended family, or it's a second marriage. There's a lot of that right now in society and even in our own church. And I think it can, it's not God's necessarily his original intent, but he redeems, he restores. And you guys are such a beautiful example of that. And I just love that. So you were researching the pastor. Don't think that's creepy at all. No, I'm kidding. We actually know that most people today, they're going to probably check us out online, They're going to
Yes.
check our social media. They're going to do quite a bit before they even step foot on the property. So it makes total sense. What's your experience been like once you actually came to Pathway? Tell me a little bit just of your Pathway story, and then we'll get into the class that you lead, which I think came out of your heart for this.
For sure. What was most important is that our beliefs aligned. And we read that on the website and said, okay, this is who we are. This is who we want to be and grow in Jesus. So that was the first part.
Definitely. Well, we had to understand the Church of Anderson, so that was different. We're
Yeah.
both recovering LCMS, Lutheran,
Okay. Yeah.
Missouri Synod type people, and so we had to understand that a little bit. And so it had to be Bible based, right? And then
Right.
we were looking for a particular welcoming. We were looking for a particular diversity that we were used to coming from Detroit and
Yeah.
Minneapolis. That was important to us. But it had to have, you kind of just know when you feel like you're at home. And we had stopped by in 2018 when we first
we
moved
did.
to Vero, and didn't decide that we were going to come here after that visit. But then in 2021, we walked in, and the first day, people were authentically relaxed but welcoming, and truly glad that you were here without that weird church pressure feel like, oh my gosh, you're 1 minute late, right? Again, we're
Yeah.
Missouri Synod Lutheran.
Yeah.
The
So, and that
energy was absolutely fabulous. The energy,
Yeah.
you could feel a different energy coming through the door.
plus the
for
music,
sure.
the music
And the
was
music.
for you. That was
Yeah, the music and the worship is just completely immersive and
Definitely.
incredible. Absolutely incredible. Being musicians, we appreciate that.
Yeah. Wait a minute. You're a musician too?
Yeah.
Oh, let it out. What did you play? What do you play?
Flute.
Flute. I did not know this.
Yeah,
Love
yeah.
that. Yeah, you guys are both so many hidden talents. Right? It's incredible. But that was our experience when we were looking at the church. The friendliness and the welcome, even in the season the church was in, when we were beginning to come in and be a part of it, there was something authentic about it that we just felt these are people that are really friendly, and this could be home. And so to see what God's done with that over the years has been really, really great. The church has grown a lot over the last few years. And in that, we celebrate the growth, but we also realize as we grow, we have to continue to help people get into community. Larger means you have to keep getting smaller, into small groups. And there's design around that and why not only we have welcoming lobbies and a welcome center, but we have a Welcome to Pathway
We do.
class now.
Yes,
do.
we do.
And we've rebranded it recently. It used to be
We
called
have.
Pathway to Purpose. You guys have been faithfully leading this class for a few years. It's now called Welcome to Pathway. And so give me the elevator pitch first. Why should somebody that's calling Pathway home be a part of this, whether they've been here or they're brand new here? I think they all should go through it. Why?
connection and relationships. And what are our 3 R's?
Yeah. Restoring, raising up, and reaching out.
And reaching out happens internally as well. And so many people come to a church and there's this innate desire to be with other Christians and connect, right? They don't always know how to do that. Maybe their personality just isn't wired. They're not extroverts. So to give a vehicle for that, besides standing at the Welcome Center in front of 200 other people that are going by, having a public conversation, people tend to want to be what we call it one to few or one to many or one to one. So to have a vehicle for that, I think is a great thing. And we're very proud of how many people have come through and become big volunteers or formed life
Staff.
groups.
And staff.
Yeah.
We have a
literally
couple of
people
staff.
in leadership and on staff. And yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, there's been several life groups when people are spending time 3 weeks, 4 weeks with each other and sharing, and we're crying together and we're laughing together and we're sharing a breakfast together or coffee together. They form their own life group. And those life groups have, continued on after our Welcome to Pathway class.
We see people sitting together. That's where those friendships start because of an opportunity like that. That's what happened to us, actually. We went through it the first time, and then for some reason we were taking it a second time. I don't remember. And then we were asked to fill in for one time. But we had met a couple of other couples, happened to be from Michigan as well.
Yes.
And we thought, wow, this thing could be really about connecting people. And so that's how we look at it, and we pour it out that way. You get to hear other people reading the Gospels, and that's really sweet to hear different people and the different things that impact them and that they emphasize. And
they get to share and just share and just share life, life on life.
Yeah, I mean, when you come to a church, any church, moving from the crowd into community and then even to the core, it takes some intentionality. And for us, Welcome to Pathway is one of those pieces we're doing. We're hoping that others realize it's a way to connect. Yeah. And we get it. Sometimes people need to come for a minute before they're known. But in a church that's healthy and growing, there's such a great opportunity to be known when you're ready. And this is a great vehicle. Logistically, if you go to our website, pathwayvb.com/events, or you go to our app, you can find the next Welcome to Pathway class. You can sign up for it. We would love for you to do that.
Yes.
What can they expect? Just do the brief, how many weeks? How long is the class? Like, am I going to be there for 3 hours?
No, we only meet for an hour about every few months during the year.
That's right. We offer this 3 times a year.
We do in January, in May, and September. Yeah. Those are Better Together months. So we are better together. So we come together 3 or 4 Sundays, only for an hour, and it's just kind of a very relaxed atmosphere. This is not a curriculum classroom type thing. We are just there to be together and share.
You're going to learn a little bit about Pathway and some of Pathway's core beliefs, right? Yeah. But you're also going to get to read excerpts of the Bible and read them to each other, and you're going to be able to meet other people and talk. We do spend like a whole day on the testimony. Hearing people's testimony, if they want to share, is powerful. It is. It will impact you in your soul. And so many times, people getting to tell that story is cathartic in a way. So you can expect to hear that. And,
that's cool.
We consider that all we're doing is kind of hosting it and shepherding it. Our goal is, by the end of the thing, if everyone's just talking across tables and stuff, we're like, okay, this is great, and that's what happens. It's wonderful.
Yeah,
exactly. It's a blessing to us.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, you guys are blessing our church doing it, and like you said, it's leading to all kinds of great next steps for people. And so, definitely, if you're listening or watching, I want to encourage you to sign up for the next Welcome to Pathway class. Closing thoughts. You each get one. Anything else that you'd like to share?
Wow, go ahead.
About anything. You anything we've covered. Is there something more on your heart that you want to share? Closing thought.
Well, I'm getting ready to go into the next phase of my life and leave a corporate job and see what that looks like and how it affects family. It's time for the next adventure. Now, I told her I'm going to put her in the car and we're going to sell the house and do the whole thing again. But no, I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So my closing thoughts are that we're just so grateful that we have Pathway in our life and the people that we've met. And I've never known a contentedness like I have now. That doesn't mean there isn't strife along the way and days that I'm stressed out, but just that I look at my wife and I say, I can't believe that we're here. We made it, babe. That's what we say to you. We made it.
That's cool.
I'm just so peaceful. So I am not a naturally contented person. So thank you for Jesus, for Jabez's prayer and Jeremiah 29.
Absolutely.
The other thing that we pray together. And thank you to her. That's my thought.
And I'll make it a little colorful. Okay. We love to deep sea fish.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That is our thing. So we are out in the middle of the ocean a lot, cutting our own bait, hooking up our hooks, and doing a lot of fishing. I let Keith go with me once in a while.
That's
true.
Amazing.
That is true.
What's the greatest catch so far?
A sailfish.
Sailfish.
Yes.
Wow.
We had a sailfish. Father's Day. 2 Father's Day in a
Okay.
row.
Did you keep it? Is it mounted?
You can, but we did not.
You did not. Okay. Yeah.
They're beautiful.
Yeah, they are.
God's
Incredible.
creations are beautiful.
Incredible. Very cool. Thank you so much for this today. You guys are awesome. And yeah, for anyone listening, we always tell you thank you. And then like, share, subscribe. Who do you know that needs to hear a part of their story that would inspire, encourage them? If there's anything that we've touched on that you'd like to talk further, you can email us at hello@pathwayvb.com. And for Welcome to Pathway, go to the website, go to our app, sign up. We would love for you to be a part of the next one. As always, thank you again, and we'll see you soon at Pathway.
Actually, we'll see you in January.
There it is.
Welcome to
there
Pathway.
It is. All right. I'm going to let it play out for a minute. Great job.
Okay.
Thanks.
What are your thoughts on doing a quick just promo just for Welcome to Pathway, almost like a commercial?
What would it be?
Whatever you want.
Well, you heard. What were the snippets that you
Yeah.
want to hit in there?
I mean, we can do it kind of like we just did it. I can just say, hey, welcome to Pathway. Actually, I don't even have to be involved in it. If I want to go off camera, you guys could just...
We could do a little
You want to just
stand
do...
up an animation thing. I don't know if we can stand with these things or not, and just kind of a
But-
duo.
Just take a minute and share like, hey, welcome to Pathway. And let's keep it green. So, that way it's not based on the month, but so we can use it throughout the year.
Sure.
But just, hey, we're Keith and Melanie. I don't know if you want to share something silly or funny but then we are so excited about Welcome to Pathway. The class has impacted us. We think it'll help you find your next connection, community, and your next steps at Pathway. Here's what you can expect if you know what I mean?
You can do it, right? Yeah.
Give it a
can do
shot.
You want to just off the cuff?
Yeah.
Sure.
I can go.
We just keep going, right? Because it's still
You want to
going.
do it right here?
It's still recording.
Yeah.
We'll do it right here.
Okay.
Just pull the mic back. Do you guys want me to? I'll get out of the.
Yeah, sure.
No, whatever you want.
You got?
All right. So I'll give you a. And so I'll
can
tell you
talk.
when it hits 1 minute, I'll just go like that. And if we're somewhere between 1 and 2 minutes, it'll be great.
Okay.
So, okay?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say much.
Okay.
You're going to be the promo.
Don't be afraid to speak.
Yeah,
up.
you need to speak up.
I don't know what to say.
Yeah. You don't want to look like the silent, submissive wife. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's
Yeah.
not bad.
Yeah.
I know. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Hi, everybody. We're Keith and Melanie Sensabaugh, and we'd be really excited to see you at the next Welcome to Pathway session, where you can expect to hear people's gospel story, tell your own gospel story, read wonderful excerpts of the Bible, and generally connect and create relationships that will live on far past the class. So many people form life groups and relationships and friendships that just, I don't know. I just forgot. 'Cause that's too much.
Do you want me to stay?
Okay.
Well, how would you help?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Here's what it is. If you guys pause, I can fill it with a prompt or a question.
Oh.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
up to you.
Yeah.
All right.
I trust that you can do it, but
All right.
tell me what's helpful. I don't want any.
I was just running out of where I was going to go.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't know what I was going to say.
Well,
It was
maybe,
good.
Maybe you
It was
should know
good.
what you should. Maybe you should know what you're going to say.
Okay.
Jump back in. We'll do it.
All right.
All right. Well, hey, I am here with two incredible people that lead one of the coolest ministries at Pathway. And you're going, aren't they all cool? They are. But this one in particular is a front door and an on-ramp into Pathway. And I think everybody should be a part of it. It's called Welcome to Pathway. Keith and Melanie, tell us about this Welcome to Pathway class.
Wow. Well, thank you, Brian. And Welcome to Pathway is a method. Is a way for you to connect and create relationships here at Pathway. You can expect to. I can't. I don't know why.
Oh, that's all
What's the
right.
deal?
That's not
You
helpful.
can do this.
That's
You
not
can do
helpful.
this. I know. I'm sorry, but you can
Yeah.
do this.
I don't
This
know
is
why.
you.
I don't know why. Okay. Do I just keep going, or do you?
No,
guys, you
we
guys-
can start over.
All right.
We can start over. It's all good.
Yeah,
That's not helpful, Melanie.
So it's just
sorry.
weird
Don't put
I'm
because
sorry.
one of the things we
Yeah.
don't say is that
I'm
we
sorry.
teach a class.
Yeah.
And
we
don't
don't
say
call it a
we
class.
lead.
So I'm throwing you off.
No,
we
we
don't say
call it
we
a class.
lead it.
You facilitate it.
You know,
it's a
it's,
group.
It's a group.
Okay, I can do that. All right, here we go. Well, hey, I am here with two incredible people, Keith and Melanie Sensabaugh, who lead and facilitate one of the coolest groups we have here at Pathway. And you go, aren't they all cool? They are. I love them all.
they are.
But this one in particular, everyone should be a part of because it onboards you and is an incredible on-ramp into who Pathway Church is and what you get to be a part of. So it's called Welcome to Pathway. Tell us about it.
It's connection and relationship, Brian. If you've ever wanted that, had that yearn to go to a church that is welcoming and just meets you where you are, and you want to see other people and create lifelong relationships and maybe life groups, get into the Word, understand what the church is about, this is the place where we transparently just engage with each other, tell our truths, and develop that.
Strangers become family, and that's what
I
we're
love
about.
that.
Yeah.
I love that. So if you're attending Pathway, this is the group for you. You can find out more information at pathwayvb.com/events or go to our app. That is always a great place to see when the next one is. We do it 3 times a year. You get to hang out with these cool people,
Yes.
and you will meet plenty of other people and allow Pathway and your relationships within Pathway to really grow and flourish. So thanks for what you guys do. You guys got to be at the next one.
Come join the family.
See you soon.